I'm thinking about, and I wanted to bring this issue up. The other day I was talking with a believer, Christian believer, who was frustrated by the lack of commitment that she sees in the Christian church. And she made a comment that people are really going to be surprised, and including herself, when Jesus comes back, returns, and gets to church. And I stated to her, I said, you've been waiting 2,000 years for Jesus to return. I said, that's an awfully long time to be going to the window and looking for your guest to come. After a while, you seem like you would get tired of going to the window, waiting for your guest to come when you're anticipating them, if you get my analogy. Another analogy that came to my mind, though, when recently about this, and I was thinking about the conversation that we had about in Christianity, they believe, the church, the Christians believe that they are the bride of Christ, and that the bride is preparing herself for Jesus to return. He's the groomsman. He's a groom person. And I'm envisioning another analogy as the church as the bride of Christ. The bride has been waiting at the altar or whatever. She's been preparing herself, and she's gotten the knock. She's waiting and waiting for her cue to come down the aisle to join her husband. And it's like she's been preparing herself for 2,000 years. After a while, she should get the point that her fiance or ex-fiance has skipped the wedding, and so he's not returning. He's not preparing to come back. And so I thought that analogy of like the bride at the altar being jilted, waiting for the groomsman to come, or the groom person to come, and he never shows up. Just like people who are waiting for a guest to come, and they're anticipating and excited about the guest coming. And if you ever have been in that position, that you're waiting for somebody to come, and every car that comes down your neighborhood and goes past your house, you're anticipating that that's the person that's coming, and you're excited. You go to the window and you look, and it seems like, after a while, you've been waiting for, they say they're going to be at a certain time, and they never show up. It seems like, after a while, you will come to the conclusion that the person is not going to come. And I think the Christians need to wake up that Jesus, he died and people allegedly believe that he was resurrected. Paul said that he saw Jesus, but he made equivalent his seeing Jesus, just like the apostles did. But as you know from the book of Acts, his seeing of Jesus was a vision. And so you have some biblical scholars who, I think his name is Carrier, who says that it was a hallucination, the claim of the resurrection, that the disciples had a hallucination just like Paul did, because Paul did not distinguish his seeing Jesus as being different from what the apostles saw. If you read, I think it's 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and when he mentions he saw Jesus as one born out of season. And so here we are at the beginning of April, and we're going to go into Easter, and you still have people believing that Jesus was resurrected. I think what is more probable? That he was crucified and that his body was dumped into a common grave for criminals, or that he resurrected. You know, I saw someone the other day state that, well, if Jesus wasn't risen from the dead, then why do we have the Christianity today and believers today? And I thought about the weakness of that argument, in that if one could say, well, if it takes a building or a belief system to exist, and that proves that the founder once lived, then one could argue that, well, we have temples in Greece that was built for Zeus. Are you saying then that now we have temples here in existence, therefore Zeus must have existed at one point in time? That's the failure of the argument that, well, because we have Christianity, then what Jesus stated is true. There's no validity to that. But anyway, this is my thoughts at the moment. Again, after a while, it would seem that people would get tired of going to the window, waiting for their guests to come, or that the bride would get tired of listening to the music while she's waiting on her groom to come in. Even though in our society, we have it opposite. The man waits at the altar while he waits for the bride to come down the aisle. And during the Jewish time, from my understanding, the groom would send for the bride, and it seems like the bride would have gotten the message that this relationship is over, or the groom has skipped town after waiting for 2,000 years. And so that's all I got to say on it as we get ready to go through the Easter holiday. It's just something to think about. And as I always say, think about it. Peace.
Yeah. What up, P-Funk? I told you I'd give you a shout out, man. Happy birthday. Grand Unified Theory. Hey, yo, check it. This is why I'm extra. Listen. Yo, you hand me a beat, I'll abuse it like Catholic priests do to children during the holiest of Vatican weeks. The stack of my beats ain't fat, they enormous. They'll leave your brain gone, off and lost like a pack of Mormons. You disrespect my clan, you better run and hide. The same way Christians accept intelligent design. You push the truth aside,